The New Universal Library. Badminton. Game played with shuttlecocks and long-handled rackets. Its origin is doubtful, but it was played in India before its introduction into England in 1873. In 1895, laws were drawn up by the Badminton Association of England from rules area framed by the Bath Badminton Club in 1887 and the Popona 1876 rules. Badminton is named after the seat of the Duke of Beaufort in Gloucestershire, which was the venue of the first recorded game in England. The game can be played by 2 or 4 players. The men's singles and doubles games are for 15 or 21 points. In the 15 points game, the side to reach 13 first can at 13 or set the game to 5, or at 14 or to 3. Play is then recommenced at love all, and the side to reach 5 or 3 first as set wins. In the 21 points game, setting in is at 19 or 21. The ladies singles game is for 11 points with the option of setting 3 at 10 all or 2 at 11 all. The rubber is usually decided by the best of 3 games. Set points are not permitted in handicap events. A shuttle must weigh between 73 and 85 gm and consist of 14 to 16 feathers fixed in a cork base of 1 to 1/8 in diameter. The net must be 2 feet 6 in deep when stretched between post, and its top edge should be 5 feet from the floor at the center. During the winter months of the year, badminton is extensively played in halls all over the British Isles. It is an energetic, exhilarating game as much suitable for men, women as for men. It was once suggested in America that its dual-sounding name should be changed to the more appropriate one of slam. But for its popularity, badminton is still classified as minor sport. One of the reasons is the fact that the majority of halls in which it is played are too low for the game to be played properly. Since the war, thousands of halls have been built, but usually because of cost they have been restricted in height. This has been a disappointment to the badminton authorities, for a hall should be at least 25 feet high for the ideal playing of badminton. Badoglio Pietro, 1871, 1956, Italian soldier, was appointed field marshal in 1926. He held the Abyssinian campaign of 1935-6 and was commander-in-chief of the Italian General Staff in World War II. In World War II, he became Prime Minister of the government established in South Italy in 1943, but resigned in 1944. Badrinath, peak of the Himalayas in the Garhwal district of Uttar Union, India. It is 23,210 high. On its slopes over 10,000 feet up stands the celebrated temple of Vishnu, also called Badrinath, which is visited every year by pilgrims in great numbers. Baekleo 1873, 1956, Rabbi, religious philosopher and distinguished representative of progressive Judaism, former head of German Jewry. He remained under the Nazi regime and was sent to Terezin concentration camp, where he narrowly escaped death. Later he settled in London. Bedekel Karl, 1801-59, German publisher, who originated the series of guidebooks bearing his name. Beckland Leo Hendrik, 1863-1944, American chemist, born in Belgium. He was distinguished for his series of researches and patents on phenol formaldehyde resins, plastics known under the trade name Bakelite, Bayer fruit, fresh or dried half-ripe fruit of Aigle marmelos, a tree of family Rutaceae, growing both wild and cultivated throughout India and Malaya. A sacred tree, it is often planted near Hindu temples. The fruit was introduced into European medicine about the middle of the 19th century as a remedy for diarrhea and dysentery. Bayer Karl Ernst von 1792-1876, German naturalist who became professor of zoology at Königsberg in 1817 and St. Petersburg in 1834. His greatest work was in embryology, and it was he who discovered the human ovum. The present classification of the chordates owes much to his work, including his discovery of the notochord. Bayer Johann Friedrich von 1835-1970, Baffin William 1584-1633, English navigator and explorer, probably a native of London. In 1615, he sailed as pilot of Discovery in search of a northwest passage, explored and charted much of the coast of Canada, and concluding that there was no passage there, determined to search from the Pacific side. Before he could attempt this, he was killed during an attack on the island of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf. Baffin Island, largest island of the Canadian Arctic archipelago area, 201,000 square meters. Named after Gator, Baffin Island is largely barren, with great glaciers. Its Eskimo inhabitants are engaged in trapping and whaling,